welcome everybody. We're going to give it another minute or so just to make sure everybody can get in who is interested. But thanks for joining us today for our webinar. Really exciting topic, a lot of interest and a lot of great tips that we'll be sharing. So just hang tight for another moment or so.
I'm just scanning the participant list, attendee list to see if I know all these people.
Familiar names.
Yeah, I recognize some of these people. It's always fun when people are streaming in the chat. You could just say where you're from and what the temperature is there.
Oh, are you going to start?
What's the weather like there?
Yeah, you going to start up in Edmonton?
Sure, I can start with that. Yeah, let's see. What is that? What is our temperature today in Fahrenheit? It's 22. I won't put it in the chat, but yeah, it's 22 degrees Fahrenheit in Edmonton, which isn't terrible.
It's not bad. Not bad.
It was much worse before.
Chat. Let's get everyone there. All right. Chat should be good to go. Somebody want to throw?
All right. Well, chat's good now. Although I can't chat to everyone. I can only chat to host and panelists.
I changed mine, but maybe that's not.
Yeah, nobody can chat. Oh, yeah. Chris can chat to host and panelist. We're working on it. We'll get those settings. We want your chats. We'll turn them on.
All right. While we work on that, I think we're good. Let's get started.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So thanks everybody for joining today's webinar. Today's topic is optimizing Google Business Profile for multi-location and franchise businesses. A lot of great content. We have Darren, amazing guest to get to. He's got a lot of information to go through with you. Great tips and tricks for GBP. Although I don't like calling them tricks because they're not really tricks. They're just smart ways to utilize that profile.
No tricks.
Just a couple housekeeping things. We will be emailing out this recording and the slides. I've had a couple people already ask about that. So yes, we will do that tomorrow. And the Q&A is open. What we're going to do is throw any questions you have during today's webinar in there, and then we will get to them at the end and answer as many as we can, because we have a pretty full webinar. So I'm sure we'll have some questions, but we'll try to get through as many as possible. All right. So my name's Steve Hartman. I'm the product marketing manager at GatherUp. When I'm not connecting customer needs to product roadmaps, I am entertaining my two little boys who, as we were just talking about the weather, believe it or not, my kids don't love to go ice fishing as much as I do. So been trying to do that, trying to indoctrinate them this winter. Hasn't gone particularly well. For those of you who are not familiar with GatherUp, we are an online customer feedback engine that helps businesses gather, engage with, and market their customer feedback to help conversions, to help get provide great customer experiences, and to provide businesses valuable insights so they can run their business better. Today's guest is someone most of you are probably familiar with. Darren Shaw has been a voice in the local search world for quite a while now, not throwing any ages out there or time frames, but you've been around for, what is it, 2008 roughly is kind of when you started focusing on that local search space. Darren's also a software builder, CEO and founder of Whitespark, and believe it or not, Zelda aficionado. So be sure to follow Darren on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube if you aren't currently. He's a great follow, tons of great tips. A lot of the information in this webinar, there's been little snippets of out on the web. So check him out on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Before I pass it over to Darren, though, I did want to provide a little context around how we got to this webinar and this topic in particular. Darren and I were having a discussion about one of our GatherUp customers, and we were using their the Whitespark local rank tracker actually to see the impact of location pages and displaying reviews on those location pages and the impact that would have on local ranking. And what we discovered was there's a lot of locations for this particular client that were doing some amazing Google Business Profile work, but there was a lot that weren't as well. And so we thought, man, this is a great topic for these multi-location franchise businesses to think about how they're using Google Business Profile, maybe making it consistent, figuring out what's working. And so that's kind of how we got here. And I think there's a lot of stuff I learned just in that conversation. And we thought, I think a lot of people could really use this kind of information. So with that being said, I'll let Darren introduce Whitespark and take it from there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here. I know that many of you may already be familiar with me. Quick bit about Whitespark. If you're not familiar with Whitespark, Whitespark is software and services for local SEO. So we help brands and businesses rank for local search. We have software. We have a system for managing Google Business Profiles coming very soon. A really wonderful local rank tracking and analysis software. Analyze your business listings, and then services. We work with enterprises and businesses to do full SEO, to manage their business listings, help you get off Yext. And so, yeah, so we have software and services. So I just wanted to quickly talk about what we're going to cover today on the webinar. We are going to talk about, let's see. All right. So we're going to explore the key features within your Google Business Profile, give you a bunch of tips on how to convert more customers from your Google Business Profile, and talk about how you can improve your rankings and measure your success. So I'd like to set the stage here with just sort of like helping you see the difference. So your average personal injury lawyer has been on top of their Google Business Profile for at least a decade. It's super competitive. They care about this. And so when you see like your typical personal injury lawyer, you can see like they've got tons of photos, 498 photos on their profile, lots of reviews, great star ratings. They've filled out their product section completely. They've got this nice comprehensive Q&A. You can see this one has 31 questions. They're posting to Google Posts regularly. Their profile just looks great. And then if you compare that with the average multi-location brand, what you see is a real sad trombone here. You see they have like 37 photos, mostly uploaded by customers, brand not dealing with this themselves at all. A trickle of reviews only because the customers are reviewing them. They're not soliciting the reviews, not managing reviews. No Google Q&A, no Google Posts, no products. Really sad to see these sad listing. There's a bit of a delay here. Let me go back. There we go. So I want to have this slide here. So think about this, like which of these profiles is going to have more of a chance to rank? First of all, of course, you're going to rank better if you put in the time on your Google Business Profile. But not only that, which one's going to convert better? Which one looks better? Which one are you more drawn to? Which one has the information that you're looking for that's going to help you pick up the phone and call that business? So that's pretty obvious, no-brainer. So this presentation today is going to help you really build out your profiles and identify all of those missed opportunities. So you are the first people to get to see this chart. This is from our new 2023 Local Search Ranking Factors survey, which is just about to be published, not even live on the website now. If you go to our Local Search Ranking Factors survey on the website now, you're going to see the 2021 version. But this data is brand new, going to be published probably early next week. And so you can see how Google tends to, this is a survey of all the top experts in local search, and we asked them to weight these different areas. And when you aggregate that across like the 40, 50 best minds in local SEO, you really get this kind of breakdown. And this breakdown is like, what is driving the local search algorithm? And so 31% is coming from your Google Business Profile, signals related to that, 18% from your website, 17% from reviews, 9% behavioral, 11% from links, that kind of thing. So you kind of get this rough breakdown. And then these are the individual factors that are driving rankings, sorted from like most valuable to least valuable. And what you can see here is that a lot of these factors are Google Business Profile specific. So, what your primary category, keywords in the title, removing spam listings, high numerical ratings. And I'm going to touch on all of that in this presentation today. So let's talk about the very most important local search ranking factor, and that is your primary category. So your primary category absolutely leads the pack as the ultimate thing you must get right. And the big tip I have for you with regards to setting your primary category is make sure that you choose the term that most closely matches or choose the category that most closely matches the term you want to rank for. So my favorite example is this one. You see a lot of law firms that they set their primary category to be law firm, but what they really want to rank for is the more niche term, criminal defense attorney. When you make that switch from just like generic to a specific one, much better chance of ranking. If you're a law firm that does tax, bankruptcy, criminal, personal, divorce, you do it all, then you probably have to just go with law firm. But if you are specialized, then you're going to get more benefit from choosing the more specific primary category. This is a great tip. A lot of people don't think about this. Some businesses have seasonal changes, like a HVAC company might do furnace repair in the fall, and they might do air conditioning repair in the spring. So this primary category has such a massive impact on your rankings that it's smart to be able to switch it up. And you might even do it seasonally. Some businesses that during the Christmas season, they do Christmas light installation. They might switch it to then just for like a few weeks, get all their bookings, and then switch it back. It's really smart to be able to change that primary category and utilize it based on whatever you're focused on at that time of year. So the next most valuable thing that you can do on your Google business profile are your additional categories. So you see so many, this is a huge problem in multi-location brands where they've just added a primary category and called it a day. But wouldn't you like to rank for more terms? Well, you better add some additional categories too, because every additional category you add is another thing you could rank for. It doesn't have as much weight as the primary category, but it definitely has some weight, and adding those additional categories is great. So how do you find, okay, well, what are all the rest of them that I should be adding? The best way to do is to look at your competitors. So if you go to any Google business profile of a competitor, you can hit that little, or you can use this little extension called GMB Spy. And then when you click it on a Google Maps listing, you'll see the categories that they have on listing. So that's great. It's going to take a bit of time to kind of click through them one by one. You could also use the Whitespark Local Rank Tracker. We have a great feature for this. You can see the top 100 competitors for any key phrase that you're tracking. And so when you click it, you can see this little thing. You can see, okay, we have these categories, and as you scroll through them, you can see all the businesses and all of their categories. So you can see this in one screen for the top 100, and you can also export this to CSV. So export it to a spreadsheet. You can see all the categories, sort by number of categories, and boom, now you can see all your categories. The number 3 local search ranking factor in the survey this year was a business name, keywords in the business name. So this has an outsized impact. Google has a problem. They really need to fix this because it just encourages people to keyword stuff their business name. But you can actually do this legitimately. You can change your name legitimately. And this is one of the multi-location brands that we worked with to change their name. We helped them update their name, update all their Google business profiles. They did a legitimate name change, and look at the ranking impact. They went from a 25% visibility score to a 75% visibility score. Huge, huge impact. They had 190 keywords ranking in positions 1 to 3 prior to the business name update. Then when we updated their business name, 627 keywords ranking in positions 1 to 3 across their 90 locations. Phenomenal impact. So the trouble is that you shouldn't just add keywords to your business name. You really do need to do a proper rebrand. And that just means, you file a doing business as with the Secretary of State, or it's also called a fictitious name. Change the name on your logo, change the name on your website, change the signage at your locations, update all your business listings. So it's a job. It's a job, but it is so worth doing. The reality is, though, is that Google doesn't really care too much, especially in the multi-location brand. So you can just stuff the keywords and take your chances. They don't normally penalize like a 100+ location brand. It's like suspend all the locations. The most likely thing they would do is strip the keywords out. So, you can take your chances. Google doesn't care too much. Just FYI. But for real, you should just do it legit. Do it legit because you'll get the benefits. It's like brand keywords. You just got to come up with something that actually makes sense that still includes your primary keywords. So this is a new for 2023 ranking factor. Certainly Sky recently discovered that if you add the predefined services to your Google business profile, they can have a positive impact on ranking. So when you edit the services section in GBP, there'll be this little option for these predefined. And so if you just sort of check these off and add them to your profile, they can potentially have a positive impact on ranking. And so here's one example where they checked off vampire facials. It was a term that business was not ranking for before. And then after, wow, ranking really well all across the map for vampire facials. Obscure term, I know. But they also did a DUI attorney, which had a positive impact. I'm testing this myself. So far, I haven't seen an impact in my test, but they saw some cool results from this. So I don't know. I'm going to keep testing. And you can look this article up at this URL here. You'll get the slides, so you can look it up there. Oh no, sorry. Did I link to the article? Yeah, here it is. Here's the link to the article. Now I have another thing which impacts rankings on your Google business profile, and that's attributes. Again, we looked to Sterling Sky and their great research. They tested this and they found something very interesting, that entity adding these attributes like identifies as Black owned, identifies as veteran owned, identifies as women led, can have a positive impact on rankings when that specific term is searched. So for example, if someone searched women paralegal, this is the study that they did. By turning that attribute on, it did have a little bit of an impact on rankings. This is a very minor signal, but it's one of the few things on your Google business profile that directly impacts rankings. So it's pretty interesting to see. And so the takeaway is go through and add any attributes that you can, because for some specific terms, it can help your rankings. Reviews absolutely have a positive impact on rankings at Google. So what is your star rating? How many reviews do you have? Those things do impact rankings. If only there was some great software that you could use to help you get reviews. Well, you're on a GatherUp webinar. So GatherUp is the one I recommend. It is friggin' phenomenal. We love it at Whitespark. So if you aren't already a customer of GatherUp, then this is definitely the one that you should check out for your review and reputation management and surveys and feedback and understanding your customer and really learning from your customers. So this is a great platform for that, of course. Next one is keywords in your reviews. So keywords in reviews tend to have an impact on rankings. The way that I generally suggest you finesse that, is when you ask for the review, you'd be like, hey, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review on our Google business profile. And when you leave us a review, it'd be awesome if you just mention the service or product in your review. You have to word that whatever makes sense for your brand, but that's the way I typically finesse that. And you can put that in your automated review ask that's coming out of GatherUp, or you could put it in your emails, however you're asking for reviews. Another great one is getting photos in your reviews. When you get photos in your reviews, that review tends to stick at the top of your profile better. And those photos end up in your photo section, which also provides additional benefits. And here's a great example from GatherUp. Please leave an online review. And if you can, include a photo with your review. Another huge tip, which I don't have a specific slide for, but I love to tell people about this one, is you can really increase the likelihood that someone will include a photo in their review if you take that photo and give it to them when you ask for the review. So for example, let's say like a car dealership, be like, hey, can I take a photo of you with your new car? Be like, yeah. So you snap the photo. And then when you send the review request, be like, hey, it was great working with you. I hope you're loving your new car. Here's that photo I took, and we'd love it if you left us a review on Google. And hey, include this photo while you do it. So look, you made it so easy for them. You gave them the photo. So if it makes sense for your business, if you can think of a way to do it, if you take the photo and include the photo in your review ask, way more potential to get those photos and reviews. All right, that's rankings. There's a whole bunch of other stuff on your Google business profile that doesn't directly impact rankings. Tested through and through, we do not see that changing these things, doing more of them, adding keywords to them doesn't impact rankings. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do them, because conversions are actually better than rankings. Wouldn't it be better if you just had more people calling your business? That's more valuable than rankings. So there's a whole bunch of these conversion specific factors. And so this is from the 2023 local search ranking factors survey. These signals impact conversion? So I'm going to break them down for you, some of the most important ones. And there's this really interesting thing that has always been theorized in SEO, that engagement signals, behavioral signals seem to have an impact on rankings. And there are a number of engagement and dwell time, like how much time someone spends on your Google business profile or your Yandex business profile. Because Yandex, the Russian search engine, all their source code got leaked. And so we got to see the actual code of how a search engine works. And when we saw that, there's a whole bunch of these engagement factors in there. And so it's pretty logical to think that Google is doing the same kind of thing. And there's a lot of talk about a 3-minute dwell time. 3-minute dwell time on your Google business profile probably helps you to have the secondary ranking benefit. But anyways, it's not about rankings. Although these things may have a secondary ranking impact, it's really about conversions. You want people to convert. So like if you look at some of these multi-location brands, like they've got these series of reviews with no replies. This is one of the worst ones. It's like, I guess this business doesn't care. All these people leaving them reviews, they're not responding to the negative ones, they're not responding to the positive ones. This is a deal breaker. This is one of the most important conversion things you can do. Respond to all your reviews. And here's an example of a business that does respond to all the reviews. Positive ones, negative ones, they seem to care about their business. It has a huge positive impact on conversions. People are reading that. You're not writing that response necessarily for the person that wrote the review. You're writing for all the people that are going to be seeing your reviews later. And again, if you're looking for some excellent software, what is with my clicker? There we go. If you're looking for some excellent software for managing reviews at scale, GatherUp again, so good at this. They've got a central feed where all your reviews from all your locations come in. You can have different users at different levels, managing all these reviews, responding to reviews, all from one centralized place. Beautiful for that. And oh my God, they recently launched this thing called Smart Reply, which I put the exploding head emoji there because my head did explode when I saw it. This is so beautiful. This is, you basically press the Smart Reply button, calls the ChatGPT API, well, it's the OpenAI API, and generates a custom review response based off of the review content. It feeds it the review content. You get this beautiful response. So all you have to do as a user is just kind of quickly read it. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Tweak it a little bit. Boom, hit submit. So it really speeds up your review responding process. So this is a great feature from GatherUp that can really help you manage review responding at scale. Let's talk about photos next. Photos on your Google business profile can definitely have a positive impact on conversions. These are some great case studies from AirCam. AirCam is a very smart software. I'll talk a little bit more about them in a bit. But adding these photos really drove additional conversions for these brands. And it makes sense. When you can go through a Google business profile, you can see the business, you can see the products and the services. When you see that, you're much more likely to convert. Plus, you spend more time on the listing, which of course might have that secondary ranking benefit that I talked about before. So photos really can help drive additional conversions when you can visualize what you're going to get the business. And then there's this other thing called Google Vision AI. And so this is super interesting. Google actually analyzes the contents of the photos. And I love this example from AirCam because this photo at the top here, this is one Google sees, what does Google see in this photo? And you can run this through Vision AI and actually see what does Google think is inside this photo? Glasses, medical equipment, healthcare provider, right? But then if you run this one through, it's almost the same image, slightly different. Google saw it as dental assistant, mouth, healthcare provider, dentist. This is a better photo to put on your profile. So Google Vision AI is very interesting. Just knowing that Google is interpreting the contents of your photos and assigning keywords and entities, like the keywords are in the photos. Very interesting concept. Another benefit of adding relevancy signals for your business through photos. And AirCam AI, again, is a company that helps you generate these photos. They have a whole system where the photographers go out, they take the pictures, and then they have to actually have all of these relevancy signals in the photos before they get approved. Really smart.
Hey, Darren,
Videos
quick
are
thing
awesome.
there.
Yeah.
Stock photos. I know your thoughts, but go stock photos.
Yeah, so I think AirCam did see that stock photos can be problematic, especially if you use the standard stock photos. And also Google's rejection thing will start rejecting stock photos. Big brands can get into trouble if their photos look too stock. You know, they get like a professional photo shoot done and then they push those to all their locations. You have to be a little careful with it. It's better to customize your photos. But yeah, stock photos, not ideal, which is why you want to use like professional photographers per location and get unique photos per location. That's the best case scenario. But I do know many multi-location brands that push the same photos to every one of their locations and they're getting away with it. It's okay. It's still better than no photos. I want to talk about videos next. So videos are kind of amazing because this is a new thing that Ali Margison, our director of SEO services at Whitespark, discovered, that when you browse profiles in the Maps app, the videos are auto playing. See how eye-catching that is? As you browse, you'll see some of the results have these auto playing videos. Look at that. Amazing. So make sure you're uploading videos to your profiles too. It really helps your profile stand out, draw more clicks. So how do you manage your videos and photos at scale? Few solutions I could recommend. AirCam, one I already talked about. Uberall has a platform that I think is pretty good for managing your Google business profiles and other listings across the web. Whitespark has our new Google business profile management software, very soon to launch. And in that, you'll be able to manage photos and all of the elements of your Google business profiles at scale. You can sign up for that at whitespark.ca early access, and we'll give you a heads up when we launch that. So that's coming soon from us. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is products. So the product section, look how visible that is on your Google business profile. You don't have to scroll to the bottom to see it. It's like right there. And the vast majority of Google business profiles out on the web, like not even just multi-location brands, they leave this section empty. Oh, what a waste. It's like a free billboard right on your Google business profile where you can feature your products and services and stuff. So it's this wonderful place that gets excellent visibility and mostly neglected. So it's also a competitive advantage because it's mostly neglected. And it's not just for physical products. You can use this space for anything. I think Google's got some guidelines, but they don't police it anyway. Most lawyers will definitely use this for all of their services. So if you're a service-based business, you can talk about your services in here. It's just a wonderful place. You can click on each of those and get lots of details about the service. It's just an absolutely missed opportunity for the vast majority of brands. Fill this section up. Now, the problem for the multi-location brand is that it is not available via the API. So if you're using software system, you cannot do this at scale. You have to do it manually. So you got to go into the Google business profile, add the products. But I'm telling you, it is worth it. Hire a team of interns to do it, whatever, hire some people to just get these things pumped out. You can hire Whitespark to do it. Call us up. We'll help you. This is so valuable. The conversions you're going to get from this, absolutely worth it. Put in the time and effort and get those added to all of your profiles. Amazing. And then this one blows my mind. So many businesses, especially the multi-location businesses, are spending millions of dollars every year on Google Ads, but they're not using Google Posts. What? I can't. It's like free ads on Google. It's like right on your Google business profile. If you're just a single location business and you're posting Google Posts, great. It's great for conversions. You know, they don't have massive visibility, but if they're done right, they definitely drive additional conversion. Let's say you're selling cars. So you sell one extra car per month through Google Posts. Amazing. But whatever you're selling, Google Posts can drive additional conversions you were not getting before. And they're free. You don't have to pay Google for it. So do it. But at scale, the opportunity is absolutely mind-blowing for me. It's just money. You're printing free money. Imagine you are McDonald's, Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is pumping out specials every single day. They got like, you know, every week there's new things on special. You look at their Google business profiles, no posts. What the heck are they doing? It's like, at scale, the ability to sell through Google Posts is like, if they just turn that on, I'm telling you, they'd be printing extra money. Incredible. It is okay to post the same post across multiple locations. We do it for many. If we have a multi-location client, we almost always do that. And we're publishing the same Google Post across multiple locations. Totally cool. No concerns about duplicate content. We use a system called Publer, our Google Business Profile Management software. We're going to have our own in-house version of that coming very, very soon. And then there's also this free tool. If budget is tight, you could use this thing called Postmatic, which is like it connects to your Google Sheets, and you can queue it all up with Google Sheets, and it connects to the API. You have to get your own API key for it. But Postmatic is another way to do Google Posts at scale for no software costs. Next. All right, so this is important. Most businesses, not just, definitely most multi-location brands, but most businesses are doing Google Posts wrong. They think of them like social media posts, but please repeat after me. Google Posts are not social media posts. It's very different. And the difference is intent. Who are your social media followers? These people already know your brand. They've decided to follow you on Twitter, follow you on Facebook, whatever, your Instagram. They already know your brand. They want to stay on top of what's new with your brand. Someone that's looking at a Google post is not your customer yet, for the most part. These are people that are looking for a service or product that your business provides. And if you're showing them, then do not tell them about, happy holidays. Do not tell them that you just hired some new people. Welcome to the team. Those things, it's just such useless stuff. That goes on your social media. But what a good Google post does is that it directly sells or convinces people that you are the best brand for them. And let me show you some awesome examples. This is how you should do Google Posts. So posting about your specials. Yes, here's True Green multi-location brand doing a great job. You get 50% off, 100% guaranteed you're going to get 50% off. Offers, wonderful. So you're going to save $500 if you upgrade your home's plumbing. Here's a $500 discount. No, I'm going to click that. I'm going to definitely click that, and it's going to draw me in to call this business, especially if I'm reviewing different plumbing companies. Then I see this offer, sold. Moving on. I don't need to look at the rest of the results. This is a great deal. This is what I want. This is my problem. Solved. I love it when you sometimes you got a review like 3 years ago. Now it's buried in your reviews. You can highlight some of your best reviews as Google Posts. Wonderful move. Love that. Sort of give them additional benefit on your Google Post section. Highlight awards, like why are you a great business? You've won awards, you're a wonderful business. You're convincing people that you're the business to hire for whatever they're looking for. But this is my all-time favorite. This is showing specific results that you have achieved. And so, some businesses, this makes perfect sense where it's like, this company hired us, we did this, we got these results for them. This, I don't know, it depends on the brand, right? So if you're like a coffee brand, then, I don't know what your results are, but you maybe will highlight customer testimonials, people that love it, or customer, like this is their favorite drink. You got to think about who your audience is on Google Posts. And so I hope that these tips help guide you on what to post. Q&A is another one of these sections that I'm just like, what are you doing? Empty. Everyone's got these empty Q&A sections. It is, be the first to ask a question. It's just such a wasted opportunity. Sad. I am sad. So there's a few things you want to do. For number one, just at the very least, you need to monitor and respond to any Q&A that's coming in. Most multi-location brands are getting questions from the general public, but not even answering them. And so you need a good system for that. Well, fortunately, it's built right into GatherUp. They've got an excellent feed for all the Q&A that's coming in on your Google Business Profile, so you can manage, you can see them, you can respond to them, you get alerts. So wonderful. Use GatherUp for that. But the big one is really seeding your Q&A with your own questions and answers. You can control the message. You can just random stuff from the general public. No, why don't you put in the questions in there that people are frequently asking, the questions that actually can drive business for you? Why would I choose your business for X? That would be a wonderful question to put on your profile. And not only that, you can, did I miss something? It's like, there's like a delay on my navigating of my slide deck here. I'm clicking it, but it's not going. All right, so this is the next slide. So you can use Postmatic as well for this to pump out your seeding of the Q&A at scale. So this free little Google Sheets plugin will help you publish Google Posts, or sort of Google Q&A at scale across all your locations. Wonderful. I swear I hit that. There it is. Okay. And then this one, I love this one. People have no idea that you can do this. So a lot of Google Business Profiles they will just say that how many questions there are here, but you can make one of your questions actually stand out if it gets at least 3 upvotes. So when it gets 3 upvotes, it'll actually show the question and the snippet of the answer right on your profile. So all you got to do is just get some of your team members to go and click that little thumbs up on the question, and then it'll pop up on your profile. Great. It's like, again, you're taking that part of your Google business profile and you're using the free ad space. And here's a really smart tip from, again, our SEO director of SEO services, Ali Margison. She talks, one of the things we do within our service is we work with our clients to figure out like what are the kind of seasonal things. And so we can highlight specific questions like, are you open during Christmas holidays? Make sure that is up during that little Christmas break, so that it can help people highlight things. Or if you have a specific special or a special thing that you're doing or a seasonal thing, you can actually upvote and downvote. It's like we have like a Slack channel of the team, like, okay, hey, everybody, I need you to remove your votes from the one that we had on there before and now add up votes for the new one, because I need to change this for one of my clients. So that's one of the things that you can do is you can highlight different questions and answers based on whatever you're trying to promote at that time. And I also sometimes see like reviews appearing in that Q&A section. So, great attorneys, I was honored to work with Gary. It's like you could actually get a review highlighted in that Q&A section is another sort of convincing factor. All right. Next up, I wanted to talk to you about the bookings option. So some multiple location brands, David's Bridal is a great example. You can schedule an appointment right through your Google business profile. Can you think of a better way to drive conversions than just make it really easy for people to schedule? So, and then again, if you bring it up in a single listing, you'll have that schedule and book. So this is a wonderful feature. You need to set it up through Google Business Profile. So you just go into the profile, you click the booking section, you'll get this little pop-up where you can choose to add the featured booking button. It's not available for all industries. So only some industries have this. But if your industry has it, you're going to see this set up the booking button. And then you have to choose a provider. So what happens is your Google Business Profile connects to whatever your scheduling software is. And it has a pretty long list there's like over 190 scheduling systems that they integrate with. And so then whatever your schedule is on your scheduling software will get pulled into your Google Business Profile, and people will be able to book right through your Google Business Profile. Really valuable for driving extra conversions. If your primary category is one that doesn't provide the booking button integration, then at the very least, use the custom link so you can have these appointment links, and then that could link to your contact page or book an appointment with us or a Calendly. You can link it to all kinds of things. And so definitely use this as well as an additional driver of conversions from your profile. The next thing I want to talk to you about is messaging. So the messaging feature, you can turn that on your Google Business Profile as well. And then you get this little chat button right on your profile. So if someone's looking at your business profile in the Maps app, they can just hit the chat, be like, hey, I have a question for you, get an answer immediately, because then it'll pop up on your phone and you'll have the chat on through the Google Maps app if you have that open. So yes, you can chat with people, answer their questions immediately. Wonderful for driving additional conversions. But it does get hard to manage at scale. And this is where I'm going to recommend Leadferno. Leadferno is run by Aaron Wyke, former CEO of GatherUp. But we have Leadferno on our website at Whitespark. And so you get this little text widget where people can text with you. It's way better than live chat right out of the gate. So there's a benefit right out of the gate. But another thing that it does for you is that it integrates all of your messaging from multiple places. So this is Google My Business, your Instagram, your Facebook Messenger, your website, people texting with you. All that comes into one central place where you can organize this. Amazing for multi-location brands that want to manage incoming leads. It's so valuable to turn that on and be able to connect with people in real time that have questions, especially right off of your Google Business Profile. And then if you use something like Leadferno, then it all comes into one place and your support team can manage it. Wonderful. All right. Another thing that you probably have come across if you're a multi-location brand is that Google loves to just update your business profiles with incorrect information, changes your hours, strips out your UTM codes, does all kinds of annoying things to your Google business profiles. This is frustrating. And so you need a system to manage this. I wish it was launched right now because we have a solution that solves this problem. It's being beta tested by our team right now, working out the kinks, but we'll be launching this soon. This is a centralized place where all your Google business profiles are. And then we have a feed of all the updates that are happening across all your locations, and you can approve and reject them. We send you a daily digest, allow you to approve and reject all of these changes that Google's making. So right now it's hard to get visibility on all the changes Google's are rolling out for your profiles, but soon you will have visibility with this wonderful software, which will be very reasonably priced. Now, how do you add, verify, and update your locations at scale? So we've solved this problem for a number of our multi-location clients, and it's just a dream come true when you get the bulk verification turned on. So this quote is from Ali Margerson. She says, if you're a multi-location or franchise brand managing Google business profiles without a bulk verified account, getting a bulk verified account will change your life. It's true. No more postcards. No, if you get instant verification, you're like, oh, we have a new location open, add to the spreadsheet, upload it, boom. Instant verification. It's a dream come true. It really solves a lot of headaches. So it's worthwhile to put in the time to get this set up. It's not even that hard. Well, there's some glitches. It's a little tricky. So this is where you'll go to do it. I've got the URL there. You can get that from the slide deck after. And then a few tips from Ali. I think we're running a little low on time, so I'm just going to not go through all these right now, but you can read the slide deck later to see these tips on, making sure that you get this set up to get ahead of the game with this. And then I think it's really important, if you are going to invest the time in optimizing for both rankings and conversions, you start tracking all of this. How do you know if all this stuff that you're doing has a positive impact? So this is where software like the Whitespark local rank tracker will come in. We have a wonderful rank tracking system that will track your rankings across multiple locations, multiple keywords, multiple zips. So beautiful software that allows you to really see how you're doing. You can filter into different keyword groups. You can filter down by specific locations. So really easy to see all of your rankings at a broad scale, and then filter down to the main areas. You can save those as groups so they're easy to bring up. And then another feature of the software, which is kind of phenomenal for enterprises, is our Google Business Profiles section. So the Google Business Profiles, every time we crawl the search results, we are looking for any of your matching profiles. And these all get aggregated for you into one tab called the Google Business Profiles tab, which really helps you identify duplicates, helps you sort by the ones that have the most reviews, least reviews, which ones have the most photos, least photos. And then sorting by claim status is super valuable for identifying like unclaimed duplicate listings. So this software, very biased, but highly recommended. I think it's great. So just quick recap, and then it looks like I did it. I think we have time for some Q&A. I love it. Google Business Profile optimizations can definitely have a very positive impact on your rankings and improve conversions. I hope that I've given you some tips and some things to think about, like opportunities for you to capitalize on, especially if your competitors are not doing it. When you invest the time to make these improvements, it can drastically alter your performance, numbers up, more leads, more rankings, all this stuff. And then, of course, we covered a number of different tools to help you manage this at scale. So that's it. You can find me on all the socials. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. Definitely check out the Whitespark YouTube channel. It's just packed. We're trying to publish a video a week with all kinds of tips and tricks. And definitely check out GatherUp if you're not already a customer. And Steve, what do you got here? What's this e-guide?
Yeah, so we created a little e-guide around the idea of starting a new business, because there was some concern. We've seen it on some message boards about Google stripping away reviews, especially for new businesses. And so we have an e-guide around the best practices to start generating Google reviews if you're starting a new business. So new location, new business. Yeah.
Good.
But you're right. Lots of great questions. That was amazing, Darren. Thank you so much for joining us. And let's see where to start. We just have a lot to cover here. The first one I think is around service businesses, service-based businesses.
Sure.
Can you just kind of give an overview, like, appearing in the right zip codes? Like how do you make sure that when you don't have a physical address that you're actually getting in the right zip codes?
Yeah, it's a common question. I have bad news for you. You cannot. There's, basically, the service area section that you can set in your Google Business profile. I actually had slides for it, but I deleted them for time because it's completely useless. They have a section where you can add service areas. But the only thing that adding those service areas does is it draws a little red outline in your map and it says, this is the area we service. So I guess maybe it's helpful for conversions if like people see that, but it has no impact on ranking. I could say that I service the north end of the city, the south end of the city, but if I'm located in the west, I will not rank in the north. I will not rank in the south. Impossible. And it's because Google sets localized rankings around a proximity of the address of the business. And even if the address is hidden, your ranking proximity is based on the address that the location was verified at. So the only thing you can do if you want to rank in the local result is, well, you have a few things. One, open a new location in all those areas. You can actually have multiple locations as long as they're staffed. You actually need real staff signage, a real location. So you got significant office expenses there. The other option is to pay for Google ads. There's Google local ads, and I'm not talking about the local services ads. I'm talking about getting ads in the local pack and the local and maps. You can pay for those and you can rank around the whole city with the ads. You get a little green tag and you'll be right at the top. So you can pay for it. And then the other option is to target those areas organically. So while you can't rank, let's say you're a plumber and you service like a whole series of other cities. Of course you do, because you're in a suburb, you want to get the main city, you want to get the other ones. You can target those in the organic results, little blue links down below, by creating customized pages for every city. It's like, they're called service area pages or city pages. And if you look up on our website, how to rank in areas where you don't have a physical location, we have a whole article on that.
Excellent. So you treat it almost like a franchise would treat a location page, essentially.
Yes. Precisely. But
Right.
yeah, even if you don't have a location there, you can spin up
Right.
all these pages for areas you serve. Yeah.
All right, cool. Next one we want to get to here. Any recommendation for maybe different regulated businesses? Like this one has cannabis doctors, ketamine doctors. How do you deal with Google and some of their regulations and things like that?
Yeah, some industries will not have certain features that I talked about. Like I think some of them don't have Google Posts because of advertising regulations. I think that's why they're turned off. And so in those cases, you just got to use the features that are available to you and try to take advantage of them. You'll have to check your guidelines around review solicitation. Some industries have strict rules about that. I think psychotherapists have pretty strict reviews. A big one, it was financial advisory services and wealth management. They had some very strict rules about asking for reviews. And so you'll have to review the guidelines in those industries. But, we work with cannabis companies and there's lots of stuff you can do and lots of opportunities there. So you just got to use the ones that are available to you on your Google Business profile.
Awesome. Let's see. A couple around the category, a couple questions. One asking about, can you change the primary too often? And does that almost become trying too hard in Google's minds? And then things around like overstuffing the service categories.
Okay, yeah, great. So can you change it too often? Well, once per hour for 3 days straight might trigger something. Once per day might be a bit sketchy. We generally, as a golden rule, we try not to update the primary information on a Google Business profile more than once a week. So if we have multiple things to change, we want to change the category and the name and the URL and the phone number, we would stagger those one per week because we don't want to trigger a suspension. When Google sees too many changes flying in for primary data points, it can trigger a suspension, which basically just means, hey, we don't know what's up. This looks spammy. We want to talk to you. So once per week is a rough idea, but anything beyond that, like you're not normally going to change your primary category that much. And so if you were just testing things, which one works better, then you might want to keep the once per week in mind. And with regards to diluting, that's not a thing. We've used to be thought to be a thing, but further testing has shown that you cannot dilute the power of your primary category or additional categories by adding more of them. And then the same thing goes for services. Turning on all your services does not mean that you'll rank worse for the ones that you really care about by adding more. You're just casting a wider net.
Okay. Is there an SEO benefit? This is from Linda. Is there an SEO benefit to have an additional description for services?
Testing has shown that not to have an impact.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea, especially because when you go and you add all those predefined services, Google's just going to put them on your listing. These are services offered, but you can now edit the description and even add a price if you wanted to. And I highly recommend that for the conversion benefit. We have seen that keywords in those services section doesn't seem to impact rankings. Filling out the services description doesn't seem to have a direct impact on rankings, but it might have that secondary ranking impact, and it will potentially have a conversion impact because on mobile, you can see the services with the full description. So just saying you do the service, but then explaining why you're the best at that service in the description is a better move. So I like it. Do it.
All right. Okay. A couple around videos, format, length.
30 seconds, I think, is the max for length. I don't have this information on the top of my head, but 30 seconds is the max. And, dimensions, I think you just go standard 16 by 9 would be, I think you just go standard. Google will format it for you regardless. But length, I believe, is 30 seconds max on your Google Business Profile. So that's a little bit limiting. So get your message in there quick.
Right. As with, I feel like most things online, right? Like you have a limited amount of time to catch someone's attention. So.
Totally. Yeah. Do be flashy with it though. Like if you remember that screenshot, like someone, it was like some kind of plumbing business. You could see them like cutting through a pipe and sparks were flying. Like that's just attention grabbing. So try to be attention grabbing in the first 5 seconds of your video. Keep that in mind if you're producing videos for this.
All right. We also have a couple around posts, length of posts, linking to like blog posts out of Google Posts, or phone numbers, just maybe best practices around posts.
Yeah, sure. So Google Posts, the best practices are the sort of examples that I showed. I love those. In terms of adding a phone number, I think it might be one of the ones where they don't let you put the phone. You have to use the call button. There's like a call now button. I think you can have a phone number actually in the post content. The image dimensions, I just published a little post on my Twitter about this. I think it's 1200 by 900 is the format you want. And one really valuable tip is to center your subject. Because it'll display in different formats depending on the view. Like you got the knowledge panel, little snippet. You can see it in Google Maps. You can see it if you click it, you see the whole thing. It displays it in different formats across the Google ecosystem. So always try to center your subject and imagine that some of your outside edge will likely get cut off. So whatever your message is and the primary subject should be right nice in the center.
Here's an interesting process question. How do you recommend organizing login access to all locations? One email or have like separate access for GMs? I guess from our standpoint, we do both, right? Where you have one kind of large, access to everybody, and then each individual would have access just to their stuff. Is that how you would recommend it for GBP as well?
Exactly. So I would do that. It'd be like, if you're a national brand, you might have your regional manager and you can make them managers of their specific Google business profiles. And then you might have a store location manager that can be the manager of just their own individual Google business profile. But then you have, the CMO of the whole company has access to every Google business profile. So they become the owner of all the profiles. And then you can set this up in Google as managers and owners. You can also create location groups within your Google business profile management dashboard. And so location groups are a great way to sort of organize everything.
Like I said, lots of questions. We're still getting through it. We got a few more here. Let's see. This one's good. As far as like a chiropractor, this is from Lori. Chiropractors, she's seen both doctors or clinic in the category. Is there a correct way to do it, or do you test it and see?
So chiropractors, I don't think you have the benefit of multiple categories. Lawyers are a great one. So let's say you have I need to explain one thing before I get into this. So there's the opportunity for some industries to have the practice listing and the practitioner listing. That is a nice opportunity, because if you have a different primary category, then you could potentially have two profiles. One can rank really well for one, and one can rank really well for the other, because you can manipulate that primary category and potentially use keywords in the business name to help those two different profiles rank. So if you are in an industry that has practice and practitioner listings, real estate is one of them. The chiropractors, doctors, dentists, you have this opportunity, lawyers. And so chiropractors are a tough one, because I think there's just one primary category of chiropractor. You can still make a practitioner listing, but because it's at the same address, Google will typically filter it out. It's like two chiropractors at the same address, Google will usually only show one of them. But if you were talking about something like a lawyer, you had the primary firm was law firm, but then you had multiple specific lawyers. Like one of the partners focused on divorce law, the other one focused on criminal defense. Then you can make these practitioner listings and make them rank. But now you've got more profiles to add reviews to and build up, more profiles to manage. But I don't know if that answered the question. I hope so.
Yeah, I think it was. I think we got there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
let's see. Other questions. There's so many good ones. It's hard to get. I like this one. This was from Anonymous. So how do you make boring? Yeah. How do you make boring industries fun? Like this example is aluminum suppliers or manufacturers. Like, is there a way to I don't know, make that interesting enough in GBP?
Well, yeah, it's the same thing. So you could definitely lots of photos and videos, like videos of like the aluminum manufacturing process. I'd watch that. Client or customer case studies, results that you've got, project descriptions. It may be boring to the general public, but when someone's looking for an aluminum manufacturer, this is not boring. This is what they want. This is what they're looking for. And so I think taking the opportunity to really build out the profile to feature, like, what do you do? Why are you good at it? What are some results that you've gotten? What are some reviews that you've gotten? That, I don't know, that's not boring to me. And then the videos, I think, are a great one. Same thing with photos. And then anywhere that we're doing that, also make Google posts around it. Talk about products, build out that product section, different types of products that you manufacture. Wonderful. Actually, I don't know. I'm excited about the aluminum manufacturer Google business profile. I want to go check it out right now. After you build it out with all those things. Hopefully that helped. I
picture the cat GIF typing away at the computer now looking for aluminum manufacturers.
That's right.
All right, I'm going to do one more question. We had some good discussion in the chat too that I want to get to. So we'll do one more question. Sure. This one's about a wine shop, and it seems like the person is not able to post due to the alcohol content. Yep. Do you have any suggestions or history working with liquor stores, wine shops, things like that?
I don't know how legal this is, but I did test something for one of my cannabis clients once, and it worked. I changed the primary category to a category that allowed Google posts. And then I posted a bunch of Google posts, which went live on the listing. And then I changed the primary category back, and the post stuck. So that's very sketchy. You may end up getting your listing suspended. I can't remember if it was posts or products, because you don't get either in some of these regulated industries. And it was one of them stuck, but one of them didn't show up at all. I couldn't remember what it was, but that's an interesting thing you can play around with. But I don't know, use the Q&A section, use what you have, use the services section. If you don't have those things, use the photos section. Geez, you can put lots of awesome stuff in your photos and videos. Yeah. So even if you don't have posts, there's still lots of great things you can do on your Google business profile.
Yeah, needless to say, there's a lot of testing and learning, as even Sterling Sky and you guys are doing all this research and stuff. You're just testing stuff. So I'd encourage people to do that as well.
Yeah, and be careful with that little tip that I gave. That's very sketchy behavior. You might end up in trouble and regret your life choices if you did that. But,
we didn't have a disclaimer on the webinar, but there it is.
You didn't hear it from me. I did not tell you to do that.
All right. A couple things in the chat that I wanted to bring up here. We're at time, so we'll wrap it up with this. But Ty mentioned that every post he has done that included a URL or phone number gets declined. And
No, it
so
could be the phone thing. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
Yep. And then if you have a video, the logo, business logo can't be larger than 10% of the frame. So just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've seen Mike Blumenthal say that it's like that's one of the reasons why photos and posts with photos get rejected. But then, like, I think the example I shared of that the plumbing company that had the little alien on it, that whole thing was just full of graphics and stuff and text. And so your mileage may vary on that, but 10% is a general rule. Yes.
Yeah. So much like everything else, Google polices some of it and doesn't care for some of it, but just be careful.
Yep.
So, all right. Well,
I
think that's there's a couple more, but
I can stick around. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
We still got 100 people here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I guess they're listening. They want to hear these questions and answers. So I don't know, drop off if you want, but if you got time, Steve, I can stick around and ask more questions.
Yep. I just want to let everybody know that I know if they have to go, they have to go,
Yep.
but we can bang through a few more of these.
We'll send out the recording too.
Of course. Yep. Send recording. We'll send the slides as well in the email. So this is from Diego. There have been many problems lately with the change of names, category, new reviews on GBP. Google closed many accounts. How to make the changes which are important and avoid being banned by Google?
That's the one delicate touch per week. That's what I would recommend. It's not a fail safe. Whenever you edit your primary category, your name, your phone number, your address, your website URL, those are touchy spots of your Google business profile. So you're always playing with rolling the dice a little bit when you're editing those. If you edit them too often or too many in one shot, you're really increasing your risk. That's why we do one change per week on those primary fields.
I see two questions came in around schema. One was, I think these are more like on page, not necessarily GBP stuff, but I know you have plenty of insights on this as well.
For sure.
So what are like some of the must-do tactics for on page to help rank locally?
Title tag. You get your keywords in the title tag. One of the big tips that I love to talk about because people don't get this one is that a lot of software will say, oh, your title tag has to be between 60 and 70 characters. That's actually not true. Google has said that they don't care how long your title tag is. The only reason that number exists is because that's where it starts getting cut off, like when you get the ... But what I love to do in local is actually just add a whole bunch of neighborhood names to the end. So it's like, this is my primary title tag. It's got my primary keywords. It's like written for conversions. And then I love the ... because that's where I can stuff any other keywords I want in there, right? So I can just put a whole bunch of extra stuff in there, and it does lift rankings for all those extra like neighborhood names, suburbs, other areas that you might want to add some location stuff to. So your title tag is huge, and don't worry about the length. Embrace the ellipsis, the ... The other one is, of course, you need lots of good body content. Your Google looks at your website as the primary source of information for what they know about your business. So build it out. You need a great page for every service, and you need that page to be the best page in your whole city. Not just like 2 paragraphs. It has to have lots of meaty content, covering the topic in excruciating detail. FAQ, so we're talking about schema. I love FAQ schema not because it has some ranking benefit, but because when you do rank, you get the little, your result is bigger than everybody else's because you have 2 questions under it. Another great one is review schema. Most brands don't have enough domain authority to actually get the review stars to show up. GatherUp knows all about this one, but there is a slightly gray hat, black hat hack to get the review stars, and that's if you change it to product schema. So you use product schema and then you give the review stars to the product itself, not to the business. Then that's where you can actually get the review stars to show up. So now imagine you're listing in the search results. It's like title, description, you got the stars, and you got 2 questions showing up. Makes your listing stand out. So I do love that. That will be the top on-page tips for you.
Yeah. And talking about the review schema, we've even seen that, a couple of years ago, Google mentioned they were stripping that out. And so, like you said, people started doing the product schema. But we still see some of the larger multi-location franchise review stars still showing up.
You still get them if you have enough domain authority. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Question on the video format, does that matter? Is it .mov? Is it MP4? Is there a specific one that has to be used?
I don't know the answer to that. We've always gone MP4 and it's always worked.
Okay. Okay, so probably that looks like somebody said that the MOV does not work.
Yeah.
There's one specifically that I wanted to bring up for you. I think it had to do with Whitespark versus Yext. I don't know if we just want to drop the link in or
Number one question on our Q&A. All right.
Yeah.
If you are managing like 300, 500 plus locations, Whitespark's not the best solution for you because we do it all manually. But because we do it all manually, if you're like, in the 100 location or less, we can easily handle your case. And I think it's a much better solution because we do the work manually. Our team goes out, cleans up all your listings, make sure everything is correct and accurate, and you only pay one time. You don't have to keep paying year after year. It's not like you're not renting your listings. You're getting your listings properly managed by humans rather than a software system misses a lot of things. And so we do a really great job. You get ownership of your listings. We send you the usernames and passwords, and then you only pay once. Every time we quote a multi-location business, we always show them this awesome table, which is like, this is how much you would pay with Yext in year one. This is how much you pay with Whitespark in year one. It's already less right out of the gates. And then over the 5-year term, it's like, if you have like a few hundred locations, like you've saved $300,000. And so so cost savings, better job. Not renting your listings. Now, the thing you lose is, hey, all of my locations changed their hours. How do I do that? With Yext, you make a change, you press submit. We have that coming at Whitespark as part of the GBP management that we're building. But Yext does have that edge. So if you have a lot of changes that are happening all the time and you need to be able to push updates on a regular basis, Yext provides that solution that we don't. We can still do it, but then you got to get it into our team, and our team has to go through and push all the updates, and you pay a one-time fee for updates. So, you have to think about how many updates are you doing. Most locations, once they're created and clean, they don't really change. But if you have a lot of changes happening, then you might need a system like Yext or Uberall or Soci. I don't know how they say it, but yeah, that's another brand that does that.
Yeah. Okay. Question from Jose, which I thought was interesting as well. This one is around, okay. Does ranking for a keyword in the organic search results impact the ranking of the same keyword in Google Maps?
Yep, because that whole thing I talked about, like your website signals are an important signal for your maps ranking as well. They didn't used to be, but it was the Venice update in 2013 or something like that now connected your website signals to your Google business profile. And so, yes. And so if you can rank really well in the organic results, it really helps you rank in the local results. And so organic results are driven by your on-page content, the things that I mentioned in that other question, plus your link authority. So, links coming into that page. And internal links is an untapped opportunity for a lot of brands too. Apparently, Google doesn't really differentiate between a link from an outside website outside web page to your site and one of your own web pages to your page. So really utilizing internal linking can have a positive impact because you can go through and find any in-content links that you can link to that reference that page. You want to boost that page up. Well, it's really hard to build 10 external links to that page, but you can probably find 10 pages on your own site that you can link to. So that's another little on-page tip. And yes, rankings in the organic, if you rank really well organically, you generally will help your rankings in the local pack as well. Within that radius, that proximity radius.
Yeah. Always have the caveats.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the last one. We haven't got one in a couple minutes, so last one.
Last one.
How many miles from each location will Google be okay with a new location listing for a plumber?
200. And also the service areas cannot overlap, but I don't know if the 200 is still true. The main thing is that the service areas cannot overlap. So let's say there's service area businesses, and Sterling Sky has the greatest resource on this. So look it up, like it's fairly recently published, and Joy made a little video where she really broke down the service areas and how a service area business can set up multiple listings. So I encourage you to look that up, but make sure that the profiles, if you have the address hidden and the service areas can't overlap, and I do think there's like maybe a 200-mile radius that you can't have two within, if they're in the same state. You could actually have two that are like within 10 miles of each other, but if they're on other sides of the state, I think it's okay. So in those weird situations, you could have that. But within the same state, I think it's supposed to be something like 200 miles seems really far. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer for sure, but I feel like I heard this 200 before, but I know that the service areas can overlap, and I encourage you to look up the Sterling Sky video on this. It was published within the last couple of months.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sterling Sky is another amazing resource for all this kind of information. So
good. So good. Yeah.
So great. All right. Well, I think with that, we'll shut it down. I appreciate your time. Everybody stuck around for so long. I had some great questions. This was phenomenal. Darren, thank you for all your expertise and for joining us today. We will be sending this out tomorrow with the recording and the slides. If there's anything else, our emails are included in that slide deck. So feel free to reach out to us with any further questions. Darren, any final words?
Just thanks a lot for coming, and yeah, I hope it was helpful. And you can definitely hit me up on all the social channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, follow me on YouTube. I'm even on TikTok these days. I started making TikToks, but yeah. So I would love your love on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, I've only got like 100 followers there. So I'd like to build that up. So yeah.
All right. Sounds good. You heard it. Darren's a TikTok star in the making.
Yeah, working on it.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Darren.
See ya.